Hi everyone! Thank you for clicking on my video. I really appreciate it. In this video, I am going to share my personal experience on using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 for 1 month. Especially, I used it in my trip, so it was a lot of vlogging style of the videos. And before I share the pros and cons about my personal experience using the camera, I want to state that this is my first official camera. Like, I've never owned any camera before, so I just want to share exactly how I felt when I was using this camera for about a month. Before I share the personal experience by using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera, let's take a look at the comments that I get on my trip.
No, it's DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
Oh, hello. Where are you from?
We're from Canada.
Hello, Canada. Where are you? Come.
Fancy.
Same camera.
You do?
Yeah.
Nice.
DJI.
Yeah.
It's called
Osmo Pocket 3. Exactly. Yeah. Nice. They always get sold out.
It's so small.
It is.
Wow. It's so cute.
Thank you. So I have to say, it feels very good when when a stranger comes up to you and commenting on something that, whether it's what you're wearing or like you're using. I have to say that it did feel really good. Like when people say like, "Oh my God, that's a cute camera. Oh my God, that camera is so small." Like it felt really good. So when I was doing camera shopping, I always find that those professional, like big or a little heavy cameras, it's hard to learn, it's hard to use because there are so many like adjustments that you need to do before you do a shot. So, and then this Osmo 3 came out and it was just so popular. I'm like, oh my God, this is a perfect camera for my trip. So we decided we're gonna get it. We were on a wait list, so like finally we got it. So it was, if you have not checked out my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 unboxing, please make sure to check that out because I was absolutely just so excited to receive this camera. Okay, so now let's talk about my personal experience using this camera, pros and cons. First, this camera, I have to say, it is super convenient. So in this whole trip, I've always had this little like black backpack where I can actually fit in everything. I had my wallet, I had the whole camera thing, I had like other personal stuff. It was just so like small and convenient. Whenever I need to use it, I just grab it in my bag, I just start to film. I also find the camera is small enough that it can actually fit in my hand perfectly, especially I think when I use this extension, the body extension, then it's actually fit perfectly in my hand. So I think this camera is really good while you're like outside and you're vlogging. It's perfect. I also find the video quality is very good. Especially most of the time I was filming at 2.7K, just simply because we are afraid in this trip we're gonna use all the memory card storage, and we don't want to face any problems or challenges just because this is our first time and we're a little bit cautious. And it actually turns out 2.7K, the quality is actually very, very good. Next one is the audio. I am actually currently using the mic of the Osmo Pocket 3. I find the audio is actually very, very good, especially when you have the mic on. The audio is like crystal clear, But without the mic, it actually picks up the sound around you. I also think the audio is not that bad when you don't have the mic on. It actually can pick up your voice very clear as well. But of course, with the mic on, you don't hear the sound around you, which is great.
I'm literally having like 5 layers on because like this is way colder than I expected.
Especially when you're like, I had a lot of days. It was so windy and raining. So with the mic on, it actually helps a lot to block all those wind and stuff. Love it. I also find the gimbal is very nice. While I have not tested in running or biking yet, but just by walking and like filming 360 degrees, I find it's just amazing because I often find my arm like move a little faster, but the gimbal is actually picking up slower than my arm moves. So I find that's very helpful when I do the B-roll thing. It's just it's nice. I also have to say it is absolutely so awesome when you film at night. Like, I know a lot of cameras you have to do adjustment in order to have a great shot at night, but for this camera you can just simply turn it on, and as long as you have some sort of light around you, whether it's light on the street or it's the light from those shops around you, it's just it picks up your face, it lighting up your face. Like I had a lot of shots where like I film it at night, I film it on airplane where it's like the lighting is not so good, but the quality of the shots, it's just so awesome. I love it. The last pros that I want to share is the battery life. It's absolutely, I don't even know how to describe it. I have only used the extended battery once or maximum twice in this trip. So the trip is like 3 weeks. I've only used it once or twice. That only because that I did not charge the camera body at night. So I always make sure that I charge it at night, then I can use it actually the whole day. Like, then I don't even need the extended battery life. So I was also very careful in terms of using the battery, because I turn it on, I film, and if I don't film anything, I just turn it off. I always make sure it's off when I'm not filming. Same thing with the mic. I've never run out battery of my mic. That is simply because that if I do a B-roll, my mic is not on. Also, when I do B-roll, I want to make sure I pick up the sounds around me. For example, if I'm in a Christmas market in Hamburg, I want to make sure we can hear the crowd around us, so I wouldn't turn my mic on. Okay, now I have all the pros. Let's talk about the cons. I'm sure you guys want to hear the real experience of using this camera, like what exactly problem you're facing, like what you do not like about. Overall, this camera is very user-friendly, but some of the things that maybe just because of me, like I do not understand why it happened, but somehow these are the things that I was experiencing where it's not very, I can't say it's not very pleased, because like I'm very pleased with the camera. It's more just like, I wish these things can be improved. Yeah, let's put it that way. So first of all, it's the camera body. I did mention that I really like the camera body because it's very like small and fit in my hand. Actually, without the body extension, I always feel like, because I've already have a small hand, so without the extension, the body, I always feel like the camera gonna slip in my hand, because like the body is just like so small. So that's just how I felt. But with the body extension, it actually fits perfectly. I don't know, is it because I didn't use it correctly? But what I was experiencing is that as soon as I turn on the camera, the gimbal automatically goes 45 degrees, like kind of 45 degrees up. So I remember almost like halfway through our trip, they're like half of the building and half of the sky. So I did not notice at the moment, just because the screen is small, and to me, I'm like, oh, this is a perfect shot. Plus, at the same time, I wanna make sure I record my reactions when I go to those new places, just because it's my first time like traveling to Europe. Also, I guess because I didn't really pay attention when I'm like doing the B-roll thing. So some of the shots is actually not usable just because half of the screen is the sky. And then I quickly learned that we have to center our shots before we hit the recording. So that's just an extra step, especially you're like, oh my God, I want to record this. I'm gonna grab it and then turn it on, hit record. So that can be like done within 3 seconds. But then you're like, okay, I'm gonna place my camera here. I'm gonna double click, I'm gonna center it so that can add extra couple seconds where you're like, well, I wanted to film something 2 seconds ago, especially if we wanna something like move fast. Let's just say those buses, you're like, okay, I wanna have a nice shots of the bus because it doesn't come very often. And then all those getting delayed and you're missing your shots. So that's just one of the cons that I was experiencing. But then quickly after I learned, I always try to get it ready before I shot. Then it's fine after, but still some of the shots, like I couldn't really film it just because I was too late. The next thing is the face tracker. I remember when I was doing the unboxing video, like I was able to do the face tracking thing. I find the face tracker is very useful. However, when I was in this trip, in order to have the face tracker feature working, I have to connect to my phone first to make sure the face tracker can like find my face. And then I click on my phone, I'm like, okay, this is the face, and then you start tracking. So I just find that that's not ideal. Sometimes when you want to do face tracker, you're like, oh, I have to use my phone, and then like you have to use the data to use the app, and we didn't really have a lot of data in this trip, so that was just one of the things I feel like, well, maybe we can just use it on the camera. So this point, it's not necessarily a cons, it's more just I want to share what I experienced. So with the mic, I currently wearing a t-shirt, so everything's fine. The mic is perfectly clipped on, but during the trip, I was wearing like a thicker sweater just because the weather is colder. And when I clipped the mic on, it actually fine. But as soon as I started to walk a little bit faster, or my something hit on it, let's say my scarf hit on the mic, and then the mic would fall off. I remember there was one time we were literally like running late, so we had to run to the train stop. And then while I was running, I think I hit it or something, then the whole thing just fell off. Then it was so dark outside and it's so hard to find that little magnet like inside. It was just like when you clip inside you have a magnet. It was just the most like stressful moment. I thought I lost the mic and the magnet. But anyways, so there were a lot of times when I was wearing like something like thicker, then I would just hold the mic because I don't want to lose it. I don't even want to chance it. So that's one thing. If you want to put your mic on, make sure you put it on in a thin material. Another thing is that when you hit record and when you turn on your mic, it does take 2 seconds-ish to pick it up to get everything connected. So I think That not necessarily a cons. I think because of the Bluetooth, it does take a little bit time. But before you film, if you do want to use your mic, you might want to hit record, turn it on, and then wait 2-3 seconds, and then start to talk. So when you add it, you can add it at the beginning of 3 seconds out. So that's just my experience. Also, another thing is that if you're filming a B-roll, so you don't have your mic on, because most of my B-rolls don't have mic on. But then I was like, well, I actually want to talk. So in the middle of the B-roll, I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn on my mic. So don't do that. If you purely don't want to turn on your mic for that shot, don't turn on your mic. If you want to turn on your mic for a shot, then you stop recording and then you record again with your mic on, because otherwise you would like film, it pick up all the sound around you, and then when you turn the mic on, all the sounds around you suddenly just it's like done. Then when you go back and watch the shot, you can very obvious, you can hear the voice, another voice, you can hear the sound transition. It's just it's not a pretty thing, so don't do that. If you want your mic on, leave it on. If you don't want a mic on, then just leave it off for that shot. Okay, I think it's coming to the end. That's pretty much what my experience is by using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 for 1 month. I really liked it just because it's my first camera and I'm not tech savvy, so it's very easy to use, especially when you want to vlog and you want to take it on a trip and to create some memories. I strongly suggest to have this camera just because like you don't have to hold a heavy camera and like finding the shots and like make sure you're like centered, and like of course you still have to make sure you're centered, but like you can simply double click and then you're centered. Like you don't need to manually center it yourself. That's what I meant. Okay, this video is coming to the end. I thank you so much for stick with me and listen to me talking. And if you have any questions about this camera, or you have any follow-up questions on the pros and cons that I have mentioned before, please comment below. We will make sure it gets addressed ASAP. And before you move on, do whatever you need to do. If you liked this video, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you're interested in any other lifestyle videos or budgeting videos, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.